What's up, everybody? It's me, Johnny G, and today we're just going to talk a little bit. I want to take some time and reflect with you guys on my 2022. It was a big year for me, and with that came a lot of positives and a lot of negatives, and I want to take the time and talk about that. I want to reflect on that and just get some thoughts about it off my chest in general. But also I want to talk about 2023, and I want to talk about this year to come and my goals for it, and what I want to do with my content creation and things that I want to do with my family, and just in general, talk about my goals for the future. But first of all, I do want to apologize. Pardon the mess behind me. Our bookshelf is not organized. As you can see, it's a little bit different of a backdrop than what I'm usually used to showing you. But I've been off streaming and putting up content and things, as you guys have probably already noticed, for about a month now. And the reason I'm sitting in this new backdrop is partially has to do with that. December 23rd, right before Christmas, we had a real bad storm roll through our area, and our temperatures were down to like -12, -13, -14, somewhere in that range. And we had real bad wind and snow that actually knocked our power out. And unfortunately, without power, I was unable to heat our house. It was only heated so far, but the power was down the whole time. So pipes and stuff started to freeze, and we have oil heat here and radiators in each room, cast iron radiators. And in this particular room where I typically sit, I do my streams, I do my filming and stuff from, there's a radiator to the right of me. It's along an outer wall, and there's one further up along the wall, usually where my wife would sit when she's playing with us and stuff. But the ends of each radiator actually cracked and popped off. The freezing caused that to happen, and we had some little bit of water damage and stuff in another room here in the house. But thankfully, those are the only major issues. But we've been doing a lot of cleaning and reorganizing, and unfortunately, the power didn't come back on until the 26th, the day after Christmas. So we were out of power for 3 days, and basically unable to heat our home. We had to pack up and go to my parents' house for Christmas and things. And ultimately, we're just kind of reorganized and in repositioning ourselves until this gets fixed. We're working with our homeowners insurance and things like that to hopefully get everything taken care of. I had somebody come in and do an estimate for the repairs or replacement of the radiators, whatever it's going to take to get that done. And I have to send that over to the insurance once I get that. But for now, we're probably going to be doing a few things. Might just be some content creation and recording from this particular position, which is just along an inner wall a little bit further down. And I'm using a little space heater to keep the room warm in here since everything's kind of turned off for this room. But that, like I said, just pardon the mess behind me. Pardon the unorganized bookshelf. We got all our books stacked up on there, but we have to sit down and organize them by series, by genre, like that kind of stuff. And then we want to put them up in a nice, organized way, and then decorate with some other little knickknacks and collectibles that we've got. But like I said, today is about reflecting on 2022 and 2023, talking about 2023 in the future and what we have to hold, what I want to do, what I want as far as doing this kind of stuff. So basically, let's start off with the negatives. Let's get that out of the way, shall we? With 2022, it wasn't crazy bad. It wasn't a crazy bad year, but we did have a couple things that happened that ultimately just threw things for a loop, and here and there gave us some issues, and not just us as a whole, as far as like myself and my family, but even just me. And one of the first things that I wanted to talk about, and I know I make the joke all the time, like whether I'm on stream or whether I'm on, I think I've made it in a couple of my YouTube videos and things where I just use the excuse that I'm fat, as my reason for everything. I don't care. It's meant to be a joke, but in all reality, I have had a problem with my weight for a few years now, and it's slowly been increasing. But I think over this past year, 2022 was really bad for me. I gained a lot of weight. I'm actually kind of afraid to weigh myself right now. I think the last time I checked, I was in like 245, 250 range, and for me, that's not good. I do have a bit of a big belly, and for me, I'm not happy with that. I don't feel comfortable with myself and with my image that way. Not that I care what other people think of me in that regard, but personally, I just don't like the way I feel heavy. I'm not like, if I was 245 muscle, sure, whatever, and comfortable, a little bit flatter of a stomach, I'd be more comfortable with myself. But as far as my weight, I just don't feel that comfortable. Now, I'm 5'11 and a half, about 6 foot as far as my height goes. And when I graduated high school, started into college, like my first couple years of college, I was fluctuating like between 190 and 200 comfortably. I'd like to get down to about that range. I'd like to be about 200 pounds at the biggest, you know what I mean? And be a little more comfortable with my self-image. And there's a lot of reasons behind that. Like, I just have not treated myself that well. I've not had a good proper diet, and I have not taken into consideration health issues and things that run in my family. Like, I know about them. They sit here, they're in the back of my head constantly, and they're things that I've got to deal with, things that I've got to worry about in my future, as well as with my kids. But my biggest issue is I want to live the longest life that I can for my kids. And I can't do that if I don't take care of myself, if I don't shed some of this weight and some of this body fat off and get myself in a much more comfortable, more manageable position. And if I don't start eating right to make that happen. So I've got to put forth a better effort to that. And this past year has been one of the worst years for me. I just have not eaten good. I've let myself and let my diet go so bad. And it's one of those things where I've looked at the signs and I've thought about it, but I haven't taken action. And that is completely on me. That's a big negative for me. And even my wife has talked about stuff that she's felt with herself and not being comfortable with herself and her weight and stuff like that. And it's just something that we have to take care of and we have to do. And I just personally, I'm not happy with my self-image. Like I said, I may joke around and say, hey, I'm fat. And that doesn't personally bother me. Making that joke is not, I'm not one of those, like, I'm making a cry for help or anything because of that joke. I just make that joke because it gets people to laugh sometimes when it comes to my family and people at work. I'll use that joke on, but it is what it is. I've got to do better for myself, and I've got to do better to take care of myself. If I really truly want to be around for as long as I say, for my family, for my kids, to watch them grow old, to watch them get married someday and have their own families and things like that, I've got to make those changes. So this past year has been horrible for that, and I've got to do better. That's one negative. Overall, another thing is, I've talked about it before, that I want to get into game design. I want to open my own studio someday and make video games. I want to make stories for the world and for everybody else to play, and for other people to enjoy in the same vein that I've enjoyed stories and things from other people, the games that I've played and loved. And I had goals for this year. I had a calendar planned. Basically, I had all deadlines and things planned for me. Like, I needed to have this done by this date and this done by that date. And I was working on things like that, but I didn't really accomplish my goals. I didn't put forth the effort. And this is something that, for me, I'm 30 years old. I'm going to be 31 here in 2023. And I'm not happy with the fact that I'm not doing what I love. There's some things that I do regret with my education, my secondary education and things like that. Like, I enjoy computers. I love computers. Always worked on them and done the IT sort of thing. Since I was a kid, I've just loved taking them apart, learning about them, knowing how to put them together, knowing how to work with the software, troubleshoot problems, things like that. Great. I went to school and I got an associate's degree in network administration. It's fun. It's neat stuff to learn and to work on. And I like having that knowledge as a back end sort of thing for potentially using it with setting up servers and other kind of things for when I do my game design business. But I wish that I just would have went after game design, regardless of whether it was an online education or something like that. Just for the sake of the fact that it's what I really want to do with my life. It's what I want to do to support my family. I want to have a job in this field, running my own studio, making the games and the creations that are in my head. And this past year, I promised myself and promised my family that I was going to work hard so that I could get out of the job that I'm working now and start that full time. But I didn't. And my biggest problem with that is the fact that I'm trying to schedule everything out and trying to figure out what I want to do, trying to plan my projects, the things that I'm trying to work on, so that obviously without funds and without a lot of money to put into it, other than buying like some software and equipment that I've done already, I've got to do this without having a team. I'm doing this kind of on my own and with my wife's help on like artwork side and things like that, getting opinions from friends and family on things and in the future playtest kind of things. Overall, I've got to do it from scratch. And my thought process and goal is, if I can get something finished and put it out there, whatever method that I need to do to publish this title, my first title, whatever comes in off of that is my starting money. I do this without funds to start, and my first game or two is going to be my starting money that I put into the next projects and to getting the studio built, so to speak. You know what I mean? I'm not saying that I think I'm going to make tons and tons of money off of these projects, but I've got to have a starting point, and this is my current starting point. Work to making my first couple of games, start putting them out there, start to make money off of them, transition into the job full time, depending on what those games are bringing to me, and then taking those funds and starting to build towards the actual studio, the final part of the goal. And in the end, like I said, that is what I want to do for my career, for my future, for my family. And of course, I want to keep doing this as well. I want to keep creating content. I want to keep streaming. I want to build so that my sources of income are the things that I love the most: game design and creating content for you guys. I want those to be what supports my family, my wife and my kids in the future. And I want them to never have to struggle financially in the future. But again, I didn't accomplish getting my studio set up. As far as content creation, I really didn't get as much out there as I wanted to this year. I actually have a backlog of videos that I filmed and have not edited, or I started the editing process and saved like the template for it. So all I have to do is go in and edit it. I used to take my laptop with me to work, and when I'd get some downtime, excuse me, when I'd get some downtime, I'd sit there and I'd edit the videos. I would take the time and just kind of put things together, put my transitions in, clip out the parts that I needed to. I'd take a set of headphones or use one that I had at my desk, and I would just take the time and start the editing process on my laptop. And if I could at least get that started, I felt like I could come home, use my actual good PC here with my good graphics card, and render out the videos and get them ready to post and upload. But I didn't finish a lot of stuff. And there's even videos that I started recording parts of, like I was starting to build a Lego set. Didn't finish it. So like it was one thing that I wanted to start that process and then be able to show you guys like what the final product was. Like, here's the box, here's what's in it. I'm going to go build it. We're going to come back here and show you. I didn't finish. I didn't actually sit down and like, I started building the thing, but it's sitting on a shelf upstairs in my bedroom because that's where I was working on it. I was sitting there at night working on that while watching a video on YouTube or something, while my wife is getting a shower and we're getting ready for bed kind of deal. Just kind of work the mind down before bed. And it wasn't finished. Another project that I didn't get done, you know. And there's a couple other videos that I just never followed up and finished what I was starting to film, what I was talking about. And then again, there's others that just aren't edited and are sitting on my hard drive. I've got to take the time to finish those. I want to get those uploaded. And on top of that, it's not just that, but even like my goals in streaming and stuff like that, I have not met. There's a lot of things that I feel like I wanted to do, and I wanted to do to make things a little more fun, a little more enticing, and just some changes that overall that I know are going to be coming to my streams that I'm going to work on before I start streaming again. And I just didn't get there. I really didn't get there. Now, I did make some progress. I did get a lot of content uploaded, and I tried to keep at myself and keep that constant thought of, hey, you got to do this. There was a lot of other things going on that just prevented me from putting a full good effort into all this stuff, and it just didn't happen. Another big thing that happened that was a negative was my wife lost her job partway through the year. She unfortunately lost her job, and it kind of led to some financial issues for us. And right now we're kind of in debt to my parents a bit because they helped us out and they helped us get through the holidays, and they wouldn't let us stay home for vacation. So they paid for our vacation temporarily. Like I put down a partial payment before everything happened. Typically what we do is we'll book a beach house, and income tax time, we'll pay it off. But this past year, we booked a little bit later than normal. And ultimately, I didn't have that opportunity. I also didn't get a whole lot back at income tax time for a return. And I put that money into trying to pay off my kids' hockey, Toby's hockey season stuff I had to pay off, and a couple other things that we needed to put some money down on. And I took care of those things. And then we ultimately, partway through the year, when it was time to make the final payment, she lost her job. I literally had everything budgeted. The following pay after that, the money was going to pay everything off. We were going to pay that off, and a couple other things that I owed my parents for that were just some like early Christmas gift things that I bought for my wife that they helped me with that to get them, because they knew where to go and where to order these things for. They were these little plush dragons, but that's beyond the point. Basically, we had everything budgeted out, and that was when it was going to happen. But she lost her job. We didn't know how long she was going to be off for. Turned out to be about a month and a half, roughly. But so I had to put money aside, and I had to do my best to make things work and get us through that time. And I did the best that I could. And thankfully, my parents helped me. Thankfully, they helped us get everything in order. But now I owe them a bunch of money, so I've got to get that back on track. It just kind of put us in a bit of a bind. And it wasn't her fault. It wasn't anything that she did in the long run. But it's a case that it happened. It is what it is. Thankfully, she's at a new job now, but we'll talk about that later. And then overall, the last real negative thing, beyond financial issues, beyond the fact that I don't really have a savings and everything else that we talked about, the issues that happened here over Christmas time, and we had a death in the family as well right at New Year's that it sucked. It wasn't the best feeling and the best way to end 2022. But yes, those are a few negatives. Those are a few things that they weren't the absolute worst things in the world. They're not things that we can't recover from and that we can't make changes and do better at. Now, the things that happen at Christmas, obviously, that's outside of my control. That kind of hit me though, and the one thing that I want to mention about that is, of all things, that was the first time that I've really felt at my lowest, and I felt at my weakest, my most vulnerable. I felt at a point where I didn't think that I was doing the best job for my family. And of course, again, note the fact that I said it was something outside of my control. I can't control the weather. I can't control that my power went out. But I remember sitting in my parents' kitchen and talking to them and feeling beyond worried and beyond upset that I wasn't going to be able to give my family and my kids a good Christmas. Even though we had a warm home to be at, we were with family. Even though we were at a place that we were welcome and we could make things work. I knew it, but I didn't feel it. It took me a little while, about a day, before it really finally sunk in and I softened a bit. And I realized late Christmas Eve that it's okay, we'll make this work. And it was actually Christmas Eve night that I came over here because the power had actually popped on for maybe about half an hour on Christmas Eve morning. I was able to connect to my Ring doorbells and stuff here, and I'm like, oh, cool, our power's on, so our internet's back up. And I went over, and that's when I discovered the radiator damage, and the power dropped out again. And I'm like, all right, well, you know what? It's time to pack everything up. and we got to take it over. We took all of our stuff and we took our cats over. We had a little, my old bedroom, basically at my parents' house that my whole little family camped out in, including our kitties. But I felt at my weakest and felt at my most vulnerable at that point. And again, it was outside of my control. So now we're done with the negatives. Let's talk about the positives, and then let's talk about 2023 and our goals for the future. So one of the biggest positives that came out of this and came out of this year from the beginning of the year was the fact that I started streaming again. I started content creation. I started streaming on Twitch. I've been doing stuff on YouTube, TikTok, social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, that kind of thing. And I've been putting a lot of effort into it. And a couple years back, I had tried to stream and it didn't work out. It wasn't that the streaming itself didn't work out. It was the fact that I wasn't balancing myself and my life as well as I am now. Not that I'm the greatest at it now, but back then I wasn't as organized and I just didn't have as much time and effort to put into it as I do now. And my kids were younger and just things were not working out as nicely as they are now for me to have the time to be able to do it. Now I do. Even with the other things that we got going on, kids' hockey schedules and work schedules and things like that, I found enough of a balance that I was able to start up again. And it's been so much fun. I've enjoyed it so much and I've had a blast with it. And like I said earlier, I want to start my game design studio, but I want to do that as well as content creation as a means to support my family. Not that I'm just in it for that ability to support my family. Not that I'm after money and things like that. Great. If money comes along by doing this, that's awesome. It does help support my family. And that's one of the coolest things about doing something like this and being able to sit here and talk to you guys or play a game for you guys and talk to you in chat when I'm streaming or, review random, food and drinks and just unbox toys and whatever, that kind of stuff is cool and it's fun. And if that's going to end up supporting my family, great. That would be so much fun. But my way of looking at it as supporting my family is the money comes from elsewhere and I'm able to enjoy creating content and fun things that they get to look back on. And they also know that I'm putting my effort into this for them and for myself to open myself up a little bit more. And again, I look at it as if this becomes a thing that helps us financially in the future, then it does support them. I'm working towards that someday. So we'll see if that happens. But I started the stream, I started the content creation again, and I'm feeling pretty good about myself. And I'm feeling good about what's to come. I made Twitch affiliate. That was one of the coolest parts of it. I was helped out by a group called the Koopa Troop, and I don't get to hang out with them really much anymore. I just don't have the time to be in there and help support, to get the support back. And I mean, there's not much I could do about that, unfortunately. But I'm so thankful for them and for the fact that they helped me to grow far enough to hit that affiliate level at Twitch and to be able to start adding things to my channel at that point. And it got me more exposure. It got me out there a bit more. And it was such a big help. YouTube here, I actually just hit 75 subscribers. I'm just amazed by that. And I know that's not the largest number, but that means 75 of you took the time out of your day to click that subscribe button. You enjoyed something that I put out there, something of my content, whether it was a certain video or whether it was me or whatever the case was. You took the time to click that subscribe button and say, I like this guy. I want to see where he goes. I like this guy's content. I want to see what else he puts out. You took the time to do that for me. And that really not like it takes the words away from me. It warms my heart quite literally to think about that it just feels good. And again, I'm sure that a lot of you guys, watch bigger people and bigger content creators that may have thousands, even millions of subscribers. And I don't. 75 is a huge milestone for me. someday, mark my words, someday we're going to hit and become one of those multi-thousand subscribers or multi-million subscribers, whatever. It's not that there's a specific goal that I have in mind or that I want to reach, but I'm going to keep working so I can get up in those ranks and I can be a better content creator and put more cool content out for you guys so that I can be, again, more active on here and show off some more cool stuff for you. And whether that's playing games or whether that's reviewing food and drinks and unboxing toys or whatever, I'm going to keep doing it. And I have a lot of plans for the future in that regard. I definitely have a lot more content that I want to create and I want to put out there, and I want to do gaming. I have some plans for some different game series that I'd like to do and some like indie horror games and stuff on here. But that's to come in the future. We'll talk about that soon. But overall, that was a good positive. We got back into this. Now, another thing, moving on, I hinted at it earlier. My wife did start a new job, and I think she's a bit happier. We're starting to balance a little bit out thanks to that. For now, at least, she's a bit happier. It's still not the thing that she would want to do. Much like me and wanting to do my game design, I think she wants to help with that as far as like the artistic aspect, because she is a bit of an artist. She's a crafter. She does all that kind of stuff. But I think that's something that she would like to do, is open up her craft business, open up and start something like that. So, but she's at least back to work now. She's happy. She knows that she's supporting her family that way. And, well, that's a big step forward for her and for us. Toby, my oldest, you guys have met Toby, whether it's on stream or whether you've seen him here in some of the videos. He is now on a winning hockey team. He's in 5th grade this year, and well, he'll be starting 6th grade here towards the end of 2023. But for the first time, he's on a winning hockey team. And it's a neat feeling for him because of the fact that he is he's used to losing. And what I mean by that is his first couple teams, they were pretty much blowout losses every year. And not that that's a bad thing. It's never a bad thing, especially at that age and especially in a sport like hockey, to lose and learn from it. But they maybe only won 1 or 2 games between his first 2 years of competitive travel hockey. Now, his team this year has a much, much higher chance. They won like 6 or 7 in a row right off the bat, not counting their 2 placement games, which they also won. Those were, I guess, just for placement in the standings or something for how to start the season and like ice advantage or something like that. I'm not really sure how they determined that and what they were exactly for. But this year, they won a whole bunch right off the bat. Now, they went on a short losing streak, but they snapped it last weekend, and then they came back this weekend. They lost one. They got ahead. They were winning like 3-1, and then they ended up losing 4-3, which kind of stunk. But we're about to get ready and go to another game here. He's got a home game this time, thankfully. But he's on a winning team. He's getting to feel that feeling and understand what it's like with all the loss and all the experience and lessons that he's learned already from that. He's learning from winning, and he's also not so much his teammates, but he himself has been a very graceful winner. And he even, like, first major away game that we had, he scored pretty cool, because that was early on, whereas his last year and the year before, he did score, but it was like towards the end of the years that he got a goal. And he's working hard for it, and he's working hard to continue. He loves hockey. He absolutely loves it, and I love to see it. I love to be able to teach him from when I played and teach him things that I know about the game, and just to help improve him overall and help guide him through. Like I said, he learned a lot of lessons from those losses, and now he knows what it feels like, and he's very graceful in victory and in defeat, and it's pretty cool. But he also gets to teach his little brother now too, because Andy officially was signed up last year, beginning in November. He did get signed up to join the Little Penguins program, learn to play hockey here. Little Penguins is in the Pittsburgh Penguins of the NHL. Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins organization does this as a partnership with the NHL as a learn to play hockey program in our area. And basically it's a small fee for a significantly small fee, we'll put it that way, for a full set of equipment and gear for your child, as well as like 8 to 10 practices for them to learn to play hockey. And that is so cool because that's how we started Toby out. Andy wanted to do it and he hit the age, and now he's been through 2 practices himself, learning to play and enjoying it. And he started that program and he's in 1st grade now as well. Andy's in 1st grade and he's enjoying life as much as he can for a 6-7 year old, you know. he's having a blast though, and now that he's playing hockey, it gives him a little bit of an outlet, and it's been tiring him out a bit with the extra, but ultimately he's having fun, and I'm so proud of both of them. I just can't get over it. And I think one of the other biggest positives of this year, with everything that happened with starting content creation and things, I've actually learned a little bit more about myself, and I've learned to become more confident in myself. And I now know a bit more about what I want my future to be and what I want to get out of it. And I know more of who I am as a person and who I am and who I want to be for my family. And that's another thing that, you know, what you see here, what you see on camera, what you get from me on stream, on YouTube, on TikTok and stuff like that, whether it's goofy, whether it's serious, whether it's happy, sad, whatever, it's me. You're only getting me. I'm not playing a character. I'm not trying to be anything else but me, unapologetically. And I think that's one of the biggest things too that I learned this year, that it was okay to be, to not try to worry about what other people think of you, to not try and worry too much on everybody else's outlook on what they think I should do, where they think I should be. What matters is what I want to do and what I want to be, and what works best for my family, the ones that matter the most. So I definitely grew much more confident this last year than I've ever been, I think. Even with all the negative, I've grown much more confident and grown as a person. Now, let's finish things off. I know this has already been a long video, and if you've made it this far, I commend you and I appreciate you. But let's cap things off with what I'm looking forward to the most. And ultimately, the first thing, getting everything back in order. We got to get these home repairs done. I got to get stuff organized. My wife and I got a lot of other stuff in the house that we got to do. We got to clean. We still have painting and stuff. We've been working on this place since we moved in, left and right. We've got lots of things we got to work on this year, but we just need to get everything back in order and get it back to normal and just get ourselves organized overall. That's a big thing that I'm looking forward to getting done this year, getting accomplished, and it's going to take time. We're going to work on it as we go progressively, little by little. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make it work. That's one thing. Another thing that I'm looking forward to and hoping happens this year is that I do take much better care of myself and get my weight managed and under control. That is another big plus, another big thing that I need to put forth a huge effort into, and I'll get it done. We'll figure it out one way or another. I will start making that commitment and getting myself healthy so that, like I said, I could be there for my kids whenever they need me, and I can be there for them throughout their whole life. I will put forth my best effort, barring any other issues, that I will be there and be able to watch them grow and live their lives out before anything happens to me, you know. And I don't want to be morbid, and I know there's never a guarantee that there's a tomorrow. But you always look forward to it. You always hope and pray that tomorrow comes and that you're there for your family. And that's the way I look at it. And that's the way I'm going to put forth the best effort that I can into starting with a better journey on my health and a better diet, and overall lose some weight, get myself in a position where I have a much higher chance of living longer for them and being here for them. Another cool thing that we're looking forward to, and back to mentioning hockey with the kids and stuff, but we're looking forward. We have a tournament coming here in March. Toby's first tournament that he's ever played in. He's never been able to travel and do one, and this year we're going to be going to New York for a tournament. And it's his first time, and I think this team has a chance that if they work together and they play right and they do some things a bit better than what they're doing now, that they have a good good significant chance of potentially placing at least pretty high in this tournament, regardless of where the other teams come from and stuff like that. I just feel like this is a competitive team that could play well anywhere in this country. But that's just a little opinion based on things that I've seen. They're not a top level team by any means of like, you know, they could go to a world championship somewhere or anything. We're a local team in a small town organization, so to speak, that plays in the greater Pittsburgh area, and we play in various small like teams and arenas outside of the state of Pennsylvania, but they still have a very competitive edge wherever we go and wherever we've played so far. And I feel like they've got a good chance and a good opportunity that if they use their teamwork and use their skills, that they could be competitive anywhere. Win, lose, draw, doesn't matter. They could be competitive anywhere. And like I said, could possibly place high in this. And I'm really looking forward to seeing that and seeing what Toby's reaction to everything is and how he feels in the end of it. And it's just, it's pretty cool because that's something that even when I played, I never really got to do. But another thing, another positive, another thing that we're looking forward to would be the fact that, like I had mentioned earlier, my wife, yeah, she's back at work at another job, but I think she wants to open a craft business of some sort, selling things that she makes, like an Etsy store or something like that. And I think that's going to be a lot of fun for her, and that's going to make her a bit happier. It just all depends on time and money. That's a big thing. So we're going to work towards that. And if she does get that open, you best know that I will be putting the link in the comments constantly, or not just in the comments, but like the description of my videos, comments on chats for like streams and things, so that you guys would be able to visit her store, check out the things she has for sale, and maybe find something you like for yourself or for a family member. That would be pretty cool. But that's all in due time, all in the future. But I'm looking forward to seeing where she goes with that if she gets to the point where she can open that up. Overall, 2023, we need to get straight financially as well. We need to take that time, get my debt caught up with my family, get ourselves just better as far as our budget and things go, get ourselves out of debt, get ourselves to the point where we're living more comfortable and living more within our means and a lot better off. And I mean, one of the biggest things that I need to do is I need to build us a savings. I never really have had one. And even now, like with work, I don't have a retirement savings or anything. I don't have anything like that started. So I've got to work towards that as well. But I want to build us up a savings so that if anything happens like these issues here with the house in the future, I probably could have had it repaired a lot quicker and then just turned the receipts into the insurance, you know, and they would have helped cover things. But I don't have the money and the means to do that right now. So that's something that I have to work towards. I have to build us a savings. And one thing that never happened, partially because of the pandemic and just partially, again, because we didn't have the money, was my wife and I never went on a honeymoon. And I never got to take her anywhere. We got married June 2020. It was great. We don't regret anything with when we got married and the fact that the pandemic was going on. But what we do regret is the fact that we weren't straightened away at that point either to where we could have went on a honeymoon. But the one place that we always promised that we would go on, we always said that we would go to Japan. We always said that we were going to take the time and go toward Japan. You know, we've grown so fond of the country through various means, through media, video games, anime, manga, and then just learning, reading on the country, reading on the culture, and watching things on it on TV, and just overall, it's become kind of a place of wonder for us, and something that even if we only get to do it once, we want to go visit someday. I want to take her and I want to show her everything, and I want to see everything and see where a lot of this stuff that we love comes from. And someday it'll happen. It's going to take time. We gotta work towards it, and we gotta save for it. It's going to take time, but we'll get there. One way or another, we'll get there. So that's something that we got to work on this year. It's building our finances, building our budget, building our finances back to a point where we can start making that savings, start building that savings account whether that's at a bank or whether it's a personal box here that we have, whatever the case may be. We're going to start saving, and we're going to start getting ourselves in a position where we don't ever have to worry about problems ever again. One of the biggest final things that I could say is I want to work on putting more time into starting my game design studio. I need to put forth the effort and the time into getting that done and getting ourselves in a position where I can transition into that as my full-time job. I can make my game studio and make the video games that I want the world to play, the stories that I want to tell, and I want to put the best effort I can into doing it, because I can't wait much longer. I'm already, like I said, I'm 30, I'm going to be 31. If I wait too much longer, it's going to be to the point where I might as well just say screw it and work on anything else. And I know they say you're never too old to dream and never too old to work towards your dreams and things like that. But for me personally, I feel like if I don't do something soon, if I don't at least say I tried, I'm not going to have the full time to establish what I want to, and I'm not going to have the full time to tell the stories that I want to. So I need to put forth that effort and get that done. And we're going to do much, much better this year. And finally, I need to put more time into my content creation, and I want to try to do better with that for you guys. And like I said, I have a lot of videos and a backlog that I want to get edited and put out there, regardless of how old they are and how long it's been. You know, the products and things that I may have reviewed, and some of them, they're not going to be as new as they were when I recorded it, but it's still a case where I'll put some sort of text disclaimer or something up when I edit the video that I recorded this back when the product launched, or near when the product launched, something like that. And I'll still get it up there. It'll still be fun content, hopefully, for you guys to enjoy. And I want to be more regular with it. And I may not quite get there for a bit, but I'm still going to try. And I would like to be to the point where when I start uploading regularly this year, that it's going to be at least one video a week, minimum, possibly more, but one video a week at least here on YouTube. And then when it comes to streams, I want to keep working on my streams. And Twitch, like I said, I did make affiliate, but it's been very, very stagnant lately, my growth. And I don't know if it's just me or if it's the games I'm playing. I'm mostly Fortnite. I play some Warzone. I play some other stuff once in a while, some single player games. But for the most part, I feel like if things don't pick up too much quicker, or I could word that better. If things don't pick up relatively soon with Twitch, and things, I don't start to see a regular growth, I may just say, screw it, and transfer over full-time to YouTube. That way, number one, all my content is in one place. It's always going to be the same place. I stream and upload content here on YouTube. But you know, not that I really want to fully abandon Twitch, because that's where I started out. But at the same time, if I feel like I'm going to do better over here, and like I said, I'm already uploading content and things, I'm kind of split between two platforms now. If things don't pick up and I don't start seeing some better growth over on Twitch, then I may just do that. I may transition over to YouTube, but we'll see. We don't know what the future holds. And if that happens, you guys obviously will be the first to know. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know yet, but that's my biggest thing with content, is I definitely want to get more with my uploads, more steady and more regular with my uploads here. And I'll keep working on the stream and seeing if we can grow. And if not, like I said, we'll come over here to YouTube and try to grow more over here. But that's pretty much it. That's all I wanted to talk about. I know it was a lot. I know, looking at my recording here, we're almost 47 minutes that I recorded total here, and that probably be a little bit less when I edit this and cut out some of my pauses and rambles. But in the long run, that's been it for 2022 and the look ahead for 2023. And if you made it this far, you are a trooper. You are a true trooper. And I appreciate the fact that you took the time to watch this whole video of me just talking and blabbing on about the past, the present, and the future. With that being said, though, I've got to run. I got some things I got to do. And like I said, I got to take Toby to a hockey game here in a little bit. So that's going to be it for this video. I appreciate and I love each and every one of you for all the support that you've given me. And here's to 2023 and what's to come in the future. See you in the next one.